But dear friends, the hardest thing that any of us will ever have to do in life is to say goodbye to people that we love. Because when we love people, we always want them here with us, do we not? And even though we're people of faith, and we know that the resurrection is real, when death comes into our lives, it hurts. The hardest funeral that I've ever had to do was for my cousin. He was 41 years old. He couldn't beat addiction. And here I was, the priest, and I was looking out at my family who was so distraught. And in the inside, I was very broken too, but God gave me the grace to do the funeral. Death is hard. We could be prepared for losing our loved ones, but when the time comes, it's devastating. So it's okay to be sad. It's okay to feel lonely at times. It's okay to even question when somebody dies who's younger, why? Why is this happening to my family? It doesn't make sense. But what we do know for sure is that our lives here on earth, it's not the end. What we do know as disciples of Christ is heaven awaits us all. So raise your hand right now if you want to go to heaven. Ooh, a few hands didn't go up. The other options aren't good, okay? We all want to go to heaven. We all do. That's why you're here this Saturday morning. But it's this whole dying thing that sometimes we have trouble with, right? My mom was a hospice nurse. She was an RN for 42 years, a hospice nurse for about 28. I learned a lot from her about death. She'd always joke, there were two patients that were the worst. She said, number one, you Catholic priests were never ready to die, Ricky. She said, you guys were the worst patients. And secondly, she would always joke, engineers. And I said, well, why engineers? She goes, until their last breath, they were asking questions, right? And she had a couple of priests who were engineers, so that was quite the... But I share that because the unknown is scary. We all want to know, right, what's going to happen at that moment. But our faith tells us that Jesus is waiting for us. So our true hope, my friends, is in heaven. And heaven awaits us all. And Jesus asked in this gospel, do you believe this? So I ask you all this morning, do you believe that Jesus has risen from the dead, yes or no? So because you've said yes, you know that heaven awaits. I love doing funerals as a priest. And I know that sounds weird to many people when I say that. We often joke we'd rather do 20 funerals to one wedding. A lot less drama, okay? And why I love funerals, why as a priest, because I feel so privileged to walk with these families and to remind them that their loved one is waiting for them in heaven. So I personally can't wait to see my cousin again, my grandparents. I had just lost an uncle this past summer, all those people. So who is it that you can't wait to see again? Who are those faces that you can't wait to hug again in heaven? And let's pause right now, and let's pray for our beloved dead. And let us never, ever forget for a second that Jesus is risen, and he has conquered death for us all. So who is it that you miss? Pray for those people right now, and let them know how much you love them.